road to the Full Throttle Cup comes through the desert, and tonight, a field of some of the finest in real sim racing competition will take to the track here at Phoenix International Raceway, as they call it, the Jewel in the Desert, for round 9 of 10 and the final race in the Eliminator round to decide which 4 drivers will run for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship in 1 week's time at Homestead, Miami. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to LSRTV. I'm Jacob Seelman, the voice of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, and we are glad you're along for the ride here tonight. We are getting set up for what I think is going to be a wild, wild show. 125 laps strong here in the Garry Mercer 125 for the Full Throttle Cup Series. Boy, if it's anything like what we saw yesterday afternoon, it's going to be fun. I'm ready for it. And Evan Pasoko, unfortunately, not with us tonight, taking care of business elsewhere, but glad to pull in our usual LSRTV pit reporter. Petey Zeller going to be joining us on the broadcast here this evening. And Petey, I know you're not a regular as far as being up here with us in the RSR booth, but this is going to be fun. I mean, we saw what this elimination-style chase has done for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and we've seen it in RSR this season as well, because Dan Murray, that 55 car, the only one who's safe, he won to advance himself, and you've got 7 drivers now. Jonathan Cadell, Eric Brundys, Scott Simley, Nathan Little, who's on the provisional pole right now, Thomas J. George, among others. 7 drivers running for 3 spots, and everybody else goes home unhappy.
Yeah, and that's a big issue here tonight. We're going to see, almost like if you're a fan of NASCAR and you watch the Phoenix race, we're going to see something like that tonight. Hard, aggressive racing with a lot of respect. These guys know there's only 3 spots left. Dan Murray's in. He's safe. He can just go around and do what he wants tonight, but the other 7 need to fight for their spot. And it should be exciting to watch tonight as these guys put it all on the line for the 3 remaining spots going to Homestead for the championship.
It's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, Dan Murray sewing it up at Martinsville. He hasn't had to worry the last couple weeks. A guy like an Eric Brundys, who had a 100-plus point lead during the regular season, he is excruciatingly close. He's barely in right now. He's got to make tonight count. He's currently 14th on the grid with about 2.5 minutes to go. Nathan Little, one of the chasers who has surprised all of us, who finished 2nd, came so close during this eliminator round to advancing himself at on points. Thomas J. George, he'd like to get to the championship round. Many, many more. Oh, boy. I mean, Scott Simley, major dark horse. You got a C.J. LeVere who knows his only shot is to win. There's no way he could even come close on points. Scott Stenzel's in trouble on points. It's going to be all about that checkered flag and who can win tonight, Petey. And for anybody that runs this track, the new Phoenix, with the kick out in the dogleg on this iRacing surface, it's not an easy track to drive at all.
No, it is not, and I'm really glad you brought up that dog leg. From current experience this week, you are so loose rejoining the bank, and you can go below there and get a great run and get underneath someone, and you appear to have the advantage, but the second you rejoin the surface, the banking shifts, and your car is going to get very loose. If you want to make passes like that tonight, it's going to be an aggressive thing to do, but can be done by the best. And if you can do it, you're going to have very good car control, because if you do not, you will send it around and cause a big pile up tonight, and that is not what you want to do when you're battling for a championship tonight. But I just expect these guys to put on one great show and closing it on that final race. You know, it's anything goes right now. You got to get to that final race, and every one of them 7 drivers know it. And even if you're not one of the 7 drivers and you're already eliminated, you're just racing season. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone like, I don't know, just anybody in this race, actually, this is a bunch of great drivers. Anyone could crash the party tonight, call pitch strategy. Who knows? They have nothing to lose.
Greg Evans crashed the party last week at Texas. The 20, David Comstock, he crashed the party earlier in this chase. John Higman Jr. crashed the party earlier in this chase. Adam Benefield's a driver who's won a couple of times this season. He was eliminated last round out. He could easily crash the party. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen, and that's what makes tonight. So crucial, so exciting. We just don't know. Mitch Rollo, that 96 car, he's second on the grid right now. Looks like that's where he is going to line up. He's one that could easily crash the party. And, Petey, let's roll through the starting grid right now, row by row, because it's been fun to watch. And a chaser, Nathan Little, he's on the pole in the 41. Mitch Rollo, that 96, he's to the outside.
Starting in third tonight is Rhett McBride, and in fourth, the only driver currently locked in, Dan Murray in the number 55.
Jonathan Cadell, one of those chasers. He needs a win. He starts fifth. Cody Gibson, the 5, starts sixth.
Greg Evans, last week's winner, starting from seventh tonight, and in eighth, the number 20 of David Comstock.
Comstock won in the first round of this chase at Loudon, New Hampshire. Matt Lacrosse is ninth. Corbin Him Street rounds out the top 10. He's been fast in recent weeks.
DJ LeVere in 11th. Adam Benefield, the guy that we expect to see crash the party tonight, in 12th.
Scott Simley's 13th. Eric Grundy's the championship leader for so much of this season. Rolls the Shell Pennzoil Ford off from position 14.
In 15th tonight is Eric Arnold, and from 16th tonight we will see the number 1 of Thomas J. George.
Steve Gottschalk, 17th. Doug Roth, the Petty 43, he rolls 18th tonight.
From 19th tonight is our in-race reporter, Scott Stenzel, and in 20th is Kevin Linden in the 48.
21st, Brian Harvey. 22nd, Mark Bratcher, Brennan Mercer, Jason Lester, John Higman, Jimmy Northridge Jet, Douglas Wyatt, Keith Brooks Jr., John Wilco round out the top 30, Dakota Bowman, Doug Manning, the rest of the cars in this field, and I believe we're going to see if we can't dial up our in-race reporter and talk to Scott Stenzel, because this has been one of those races where it has been so tough, and see if we can't hear from him. Scott Stenzel, Jacob Seelman up here in the LSRTV booth. You got a copy on us?
10-4, I hear you loud and clear, Jacob.
Scott, tonight's a big night for you. Win in advance. That's basically what this comes down to. This is a very tough track. What's it going to take on your end and the 42 crew tonight?
A lot of patience, a lot of throttle control, and not racing the guys around us. We just got to race the track, let the race come to us. If we get the chance to win it, of course, we're going to go for it. There are 7 other guys that want the same thing, that trophy at the end of the night. So it's going to be a competitive race tonight, that's for darn sure.
We're looking forward to it. I know you're on the pace lap. Best of luck to you, and maybe we'll see you in victory lane at the end of the night.
All right, I hope we put on a good show for everybody over that LSR TV. Appreciate everything.
That is Scott Stenzel. We'll try and catch back up with him a little later on here in the broadcast. Right now, getting set to roll tonight here in the desert in Phoenix. Glad you are along for the ride here on LSR TV. We are just ready to get this championship fight underway as the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car is gone. We're ready to go. Green flag flies, and we're racing, and Nathan Little is gone. He leads the field to turn number 1 and 2, and the chasers, they're trying to strike first. Nathan Little is the early leader here in Phoenix with a challenge from Mitch Rollo, though. Petey, that inside lane, exactly like you predicted. People wanting to go down there, and it's a matter of if you can make your car stick.
That is very true, but is not required. You can make passes on the high side of Phoenix with the new repave they had done in 2011. It is very possible to make passes on this high side. The one thing you will notice is the leaders make their way out of turn number 2. They're going to dive their cars below the yellow line in the dog leg. This is not Daytona or Talladega. That is 100% legal, and it's actually beneficial to you. You will very rarely see guys stay above the yellow line in turn 3 and 4 in the dog leg.
Yeah, and watching a side-by-side battle already going back a little bit further in this field around the 20 of David Comstock, and now the 21 machine. Matt Lacrosse is side-by-side with the Simpit Toyota of Adam Benefield. Lacrosse is going to lose that spot and open the door for the 1 of Thomas J. George to go to the inside all the way down below that dogleg lane. And the number 1 Snap-on Chevrolet going to take a spot. So Lacrosse in a new black and silver paint scheme tonight. He's dropping back in the early going, and we're seeing that but the bottom of that dogleg work now. Thomas J. George up, and he's into 9th. Lacrosse getting drop kicked back to 10th here in the early going. He's already lost a couple of spots.
Adam Benefield has made a pass in the number 5. He's driving his way through this field right now. And one thing I've seen so far is these guys will go underneath the apron to get side by side with someone. They got to be careful. They have a lot sharper angle going into the corner, and their cars will push up, and the guys on the outside have a good arc, and they can get through there nice, but the guys on the bottom will push up into the guy in the top line, and that creates chaos here at Phoenix. That's something these guys are going to have to watch out for. But so far tonight, the 85 of Adam Benefield's been on rails as he's going to dive underneath that 20, and he's looking to make another pass. Benefield just passing these cars left and right as he clears the 20.
That's a move, I believe, for the either 6th or 7th position right now that we're watching. Benefield already up almost 5 spots from where he started this race. That number 85 Toyota, as we predicted, Petey, he's moving forward while some of these guys who I didn't expect necessarily to start up front are falling back early. I'm watching the 69 machine. That's Corbin Hemstreet. He's trying to make a move, and maybe we're going 3 wide. Almost went 3 wide with Hemstreet there, and Scott Simley, one of the chasers. He's in this mix, tried to stick it up the middle.
And here comes Simley to the outside of number 69, and he's actually, in turn 1 and 2, you almost want to be on the outside because you get such a great run through there. We will see if he gets it there dead even in the middle. Who will get the run here? And it looks as though the 69 will get it. The 68 hanging tough, though, on his outside. The 69 has the advantage of using the apron there. But actually, he got a little loose, but the 68 is just going to fall on the line there. Too early to be battling for positions like that, especially when everything's on the line tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we're side by side towards the front of this field now, watching Dan Murray go at it. Adam Benefield's in that mix. Up there, it's a 3-man scrap along with Dan Murray's teammate, actually, last week's winner, Greg Evans, in the number 15. So that's a 3-car scrap for position right now. Move Greg Evans through Adam Benefield to the inside, and the 55. He knows his ticket to Homestead is secure. He can just kind of ride, take it a little bit easy tonight. Dan Murray falls in and maybe lose a couple more spots here. David we got trouble. Greg Evans around. Adam Benefield around. Keep it off the wall. Caution flag flies at lap 9. How? Oh, wow. I don't know how he didn't just go up and smack that safer barrier, but Adam Benefield keeps it off the wall, locks the brakes down, and we are just like that under the Service Master Clean caution for the first time tonight, coming to complete 9 laps, Petey. And is that what you call synchronized spinning? Is that how that works?
That's a very peculiar caution. It looks like the 15 went low and hit the brakes a little bit to let the 85 by. I mean, we were talking about Adam Benefield was flying, and he's kind of was looking like he was going to give him by, but then he is pushed up in the corner and got to the quarter panel of Benefield. And I got a feel for Adam. He made his way through that field so quick, and now he's all the way mired back in 29th, actually 31st. Tough break for Adam. He has a long way to go, and he almost had himself up in the top 5 there.
Yeah, really tough break for that 85 team early. They're going to have a big hole to dig themselves out of, but luckily they've still got 115 laps to do it. This a fairly long race, and a race where we're going to see a lot of guys take tires, Petey, except one. Eric Grundy's the championship leader for most of the regular season. He stays out. He's going to pick up a bonus point for leading this race once he cycles through to the lead. But we've seen that 94 team do this all season long. They'll make a strategy play, get themselves some track position, and try to see if they can't roll with it. But the real question is, how much are tires worth here at Phoenix if we watch some of these leaders hit their markers?
I believe they'll be very significant. I'm going to go look at Nathan Little's lap time, our leader right now, and his fastest lap was on his second lap. He ran at 26.296. In the last lap for caution, he ran at 26.618. So that's almost 4/10. And being the Eric Grundy only one stayed out, I can't imagine that working out too well for him, but I guess we will see.
We will see, but right now it's going to put Grundy's in the race lead. He needs to do something real quick. Make sure he has track position this entire race, because he is on the razor's edge of being in this chase. Only a couple of points to the good right now, and a win, of course, would cure all ails, or even a top 2 or 3 finish. Though, as we saw Sunday, Petey, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all missed the final round.
That was pretty insane there. And we saw a driver make an insane move on the last lap. I mean, he even fooled the commentators. The commentators believed he was out of it. And next thing you know, you see 42 in the wall and 31 making it to the final round.
Yeah, my gut tells me we're going to see some sort of a move like that at some point tonight when it comes down to the finish. Somebody will make a bonsai move to try and get themselves into the chase. The question's going to be whether or not it will work. And lights actually are out on the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car. We're doubled up. I believe that we're going green flag racing this time by with Eric Brundys and Nathan Little on the front row, two of our championship contenders. We're going to lead this field back to green. It's pace car makes that hard left turn, and American Ethanol green flag going in the air. We're back underway from Phoenix, and Eric Brundys taking the lead away by about 2 car lengths down to turn 1.
He got a great restart there. The 41 will slide into second. I'll be curious to see if he can catch him here, but the 94 actually got their turn 1 and 2 very good, and he's pulling away a little bit here, but this is where we're going to see how good the fresh tires are in this next corner. Meanwhile, though, we have a battle between the 2 and the 1. The 1 almost went up in the 2, and the 2 is way up the track. That was close. The 1 is apologizing right now. Very close. Lucky neither of them wrecked there. And meanwhile, the 96 is actually passing the 41 for second.
Yeah, Mitch Rollo going to the inside of the 41, Nathan Little. That is the race for second behind the race leader, Eric Brundys. And the contact you saw was Thomas J. George versus Rhett McBride. Those two have a little bit of a history during this chase for the championship. No love lost between either one of those machines. Nathan Little hanging tough on the high lane. He's going to reclaim the second position. And now we've got the challenge on for fourth. Thomas J. George coming to life. He's making the move to the inside of the 11 of Jonathan Cadell. That is the battle for the fourth position. And I think the advantage is going to be to the Snap-on Chevrolet. Thomas J. George and Rhett McBride trying to stick the nose in 3 wide. That's not going to work. He did stick it 3 wide. To the inside goes McBride. Hang on, boys. The number 2, the Deuce, all the way through, gets the 2-for-1 play. He's going to fourth, and Nathan Little is going after Eric Brundys for the race lead. Yikes, Petey, that was a mess down in 1 and 2.
Nathan Little wants to get by Brundys as quick as he can. The more laps the run. Oh, caution is out on the racetrack. It looks as though we have had an incident with the 15 of Greg Evans. He is around back near turn 2, and we will find what happens for you.
Yeah, Evans slow. That's going to pull the caution flag for the second time in just 16 laps, and that could be a big break for Eric Brundys. If that's the track position he needs, it may bring all these teams back down pit road for fresh tires and see what happens. Wow, what an interesting first 16 laps we've had, and while we get an early chance to, from the Jewel in the Desert, we're going to take care of some business, slide in an early commercial so we can bring you a bunch of green flag action on LSRTV. It's the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, Garry Mercer 125 from Phoenix. We'll be back right after this.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
And welcome back to the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, gearing up for another restart here, just 20 laps into the Garry Mercer 125, and Eric Brundy's, Nathan Little, Mitch Rollo, Rhett McBride is how the front two rows are going to line up when the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car takes its hard left turn to pit road right there, onto the lights in the desert. And we are going back racing. The American Ethanol green flag goes in the air, and Rhett McBride about bounces off the safer barrier. Again, Mitch Rollo to the inside of Nathan Little for that second position as we work lap number 21. And that 96 machine, he got a really good run. That Chevrolet got the power down through the dogleg, Petey, and he's going to take... Oh, we got big trouble. Rhett McBride hard in the wall. Caution flags out, and that's right in the middle of the leaders.
My, oh my, what a hard hit the number 2 Rhett McBride took going down the backstretch. It was what we were just talking about. You go underneath that apron, you take a risk, and he came right up into the 55 of Dan Murray. And it's a good thing for Murray that he's already clinched in, or else that would be detrimental to him.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now, and you're right. He just came up, and Murray was there, got a piece of the safer barrier in that 55 Toyota, and just, that's how quickly things can change. And Dan Murray, I don't know that he's got a lot of damage to the right side of that machine, but Rhett McBride, on the other hand, heavy, heavy black smoke from that 2 machine. I believe his night in that Toyota Camry is just about over.
Yeah, very tough break for Rhett McBride. Had a great night going. We saw him up in the top 5. Up until this point, it seemed like he had a strong car. Must be heartbreaking for Rhett. But someone this is not heartbreaking for is Eric Brundy's. He is in the lead. That strategy call is making him look like a genius right now because he is taking the lead and he's never looked back so far. And I have to imagine that his tires are just about equal to the 96 of Mitch Rollo and Nathan Little right now.
I would have to say you may be about right. It's giving him a chance to cool those tires down just a little bit. And while we're under caution at lap 23, I want to see if we can maybe dial up Scott Stenzel right here, because he's had an interesting start to this race, and see if we can't catch back up with him. Scott Stenzel, 23 laps in, and we're working our third caution here. See if we can't get you for a moment over the radio. It seems like it's been wild so far.
Yes, sir. Did you see that wreck? That happened literally 20 feet in front of us there.
Oh, trust me, we saw it, and it was dicey. How'd you manage to get through that one?
Just kept her clean and straight, and just kept the nose out of it, you know. He was spinning pretty wildly there. There's no way you could tell exactly where he's going, and a little bit of luck.
That's what it's going to take to have a chance to advance in this championship. How big is the dogleg dive? We know that's a bit of luck, too. How big is that playing into the early goings? We've seen it work for some guys, not work for some guys. Is it something you're looking at maybe to try and pull later in this race?
I'm the more conservative kind of guy, and it upsets the car a little too much for my taste. So I'll let everybody else dive down there, and I'll just stay clean and just stick close to it. I was doing a lot of mock runs here, long green flag runs, and for some reason it was just knocking it out a little bit too much by diving it down like that.
Looking forward to seeing how the rest of it plays out. About a lap here before we go back to green, Scott. We'll see if we can't catch up with you a little bit later, but the car looks solid right now. You happy with it?
Yeah, it's moving up to the field real good. I just hope we get a long green flag run. That's what I'm banking on here.
See if we can't get away from what we've had so far. Scott, we'll talk to you later. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That's Scott Stenzel. Petey, a lot of good insight from that 42 crew, and he's done a nice job getting up towards that top 10 right now. I like what he's doing so far, and he knows you're not going to win this race in the first 25 laps. It's those last 25 where you've got to put yourself in a position to maybe grab this victory.
Yeah, I like what he's done, but something else that I like is Adam Benefield. Remember when he was 31st a few laps ago? He's already back up to 11th where he started this race. Benefield has just been flying through this field, and I expect to see him get up to the front once again very soon.
Are we surprised?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, Benefield, you just can't get rid of him. You can wreck him, batter his car, and he'll always find a way back to the front.
The only way you could get rid of him was last week when he had an emergency situation arise and actually couldn't make the start of the race and ended up with us in the broadcast booth for the latter part of that one, which was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed it. But now, time for another American Ethanol green flag restart for Eric Brundys. He's gone. The battle's going to be for second, and this time it's Nathan Little in the catbird seat to the inside, Mitch Rollo to the outside, and that 96 machine going to have the advantage for an instant. The Jegs Chevrolet, though, going to lose ground, and now we see Nathan Little's Chevrolet to the inside in the dogleg, trying to make that move into turn 3.
Yeah, Nathan Little is doing what Mitch Rollo did in the last restart, but be careful, Thomas George is right there. Maybe he's going to have to get by Mitch Rollo also, and they get loose.
Ooh, three wide, anybody? Yeah, they were 3 wide for an instant, and that's really going to cost Nathan Little's 41 machine. Oh, George almost sent, I don't know if George sent the 96 up the racetrack or he just got way loose. But the 96 is gone. Thomas J. George is through to second, and Eric Brundys, meanwhile, he's got an 8-car length lead.
Yeah, and the 96 just got really tight, got a advantage through that corner due to the scenario that happened before, and he's now battling for 4th right now with the number 20 of David Comstack. Very rough racing up here in the front. These guys are just going absolutely wild, and Eric Brundys is watching it all happen in his mirror as he is 0.8 seconds in front of this field, and he is still pulling away. As Thomas J. George has found his way up to second. First time we've seen this high tonight. Will be interesting to see if he can catch Brundys. So far, though, Brundys has been on a rail.
Yeah, he has been. He used a beautifully timed strategy call to get this lead, and he has very much maintained it right now, holding it just over 0.8 of a second. And I think the one has a fast race car. I think that Snap-on Chevrolet has got a car that can probably contend here through the latter stages of this race. Just right now doesn't quite have the car to close the gap to that 94 in clean air. But here we go, working lap number 30 now, so just about quarter distance, and 0.9 of a second is the lead for Eric Brundys as the caution flag comes out. We're slow in this field again.
It looks as though it was the number. I can't quite get a number on it. I don't see any cars around on the track so far. I will try to find that for you, but caution is out. And, yeah.
Quick yellow again, and like you said, and actually I'm looking at this right now, Eric Arnold's just taken his car to the garage area. Believe maybe, and I'm going to check the tape right here, Petey, but I'm thinking the Navy Nuke, the 31 machine, may have been the car that got swept up here. Trying to take a look at it, and yes, it was the Navy Nuke. It looks like coming down the front straightaway. That 31 just broke loose. I saw some tires skid, and watching it off turn 4, and it went dead left right into the front stretch wall. Caution flag comes out, and he's done.
Real tough break for the number 31. Running that Navy car this weekend. With tomorrow being Veterans Day, he was definitely a fan favorite, and I just want to take this moment to thank all the veterans who fought for our freedom.
Agreed, Petey. With tomorrow being Veterans Day, I do want to salute all our servicemen and women who fight for our country as we see split decision. Most of the race leaders coming down pit road right now, led by Eric Brundys. Couple of guys staying out, though. Matt Lacrosse, I believe, Jonathan Cadell, Rich Jett, a few of the cars that stay out right here. But Petey, the leader, Eric Brundys, he's in his pit stall, and I would imagine 4 tires of fuel.
Yeah, and I believe that is what he's going to do. He has not been on pit road all night. It would be really risky to take 2, and he is taking 4 as the left side goes up. And he's going to try to get off pit road first, but it looks as though Dan Murray is actually skating to his pit stall, I believe. And it's a race between the 94 and the 1. Who's going to get off pit road first? It's a drag race. I believe the 1 got it. And yes, the 1 did get it. But also, I have to comment that Jonathan Cadell did pit on the previous caution, so I do like the strategy call there by the number 11 crew.
Very interesting. yet again, we see these split decisions, Petey. Pit strategy is such a big part of the race here at Phoenix. Tires are important, but maybe not quite as important as some of these other racetracks that these guys go to. You know, I mean, we could see this race potentially decided on a pit call.
Yeah, and we could. There's been a lot of pit strategy so far in this race, from Eric Brundys to Jonathan Cadell. We have seen multiple things happen tonight, and so far, the no tires doesn't seem like such a bad call. We've seen no tires be able to keep up, and maybe we're wrong. The times may be significantly different, but track position seems to be key right now. We saw that Nathan Little could catch up right on the initial restart, but could not get by him. So I really do like the call of staying out right now, and I agree with you, Jacob. The race could come down to who has the best strategy call.
So we're going to reset the field about like this. Matt Lacrosse going to line up as the race leader. Jonathan Cadell, one of the chasers who needs a win, second. Rich Jett, the 36, is going to line up third, I believe, for this restart. Greg Evans, the 15, going to be fourth. He won at Texas. Dakota Bowman in the 07, a name that we've not seen much this season in RSR competition. He completes the top 5. Thomas George is going to be 6th. Cody Gibson 7th in the 5, and Eric Brundys 8th with 9th. Check that. I believe Cody Gibson just came to pit road, so that is actually going to put Eric Brundys up to 7th in the running order for this restart on the inside lane. That's exactly what he needed. The reset going to put Corbin Hipstreet up to 8th. Nathan Little in 9th, and Mitch Rollo rounding out the top 10. So, Petey, we're seeing some of our really fast cars going to be mired back in traffic for this restart.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch. These restarts are going to be hectic, and cars like the 07 and Greg Evans and Rich Jett, who recently were in the back and just stayed out here, this could be a very, very interesting situation we see arise here, as the faster cars, are going to be trying to get by these cars that we have not seen be fast this race, as we send it down to you for the restart.
Hold on tight. Matt Lacrosse, the race leader, as this field going to work off turns 3 and 4. Pace car headed for pit road is there. Matt Lacrosse leading the way. American Ethanol green flag flies once again. Lacrosse is gone, and it is dicey back in the pack. They're stacking up, and Brundys about got a piece of the back end of the 07 of Dakota Bowman.
Oh, Dakota Bowman!
Brundys almost goes around. Nathan Little got a piece of it. Yikes!
They all save it, though, and we are still under green. Oh, the 41's around. Damage to the 41, a chase contender.
Nathan Little, heavy damage. Caution flag's going to go in the air at 35 laps in. And Little, who we thought may just be able to advance after a stack up on the restart, he's involved, and this could be huge in the championship battle.
What a mess. The 07 just missed a shift on the restart, stacked things up. Brundys got into the back of him, and when Brundys got into the back of him, it just stacked everything up, and Little got the bad end of the stick as they went off into the next corner. He just got pushed up into the 42, and it was just havoc. He has heavy damage, but I believe that car can be repaired. The real question is, can it be repaired to full strength? And I guess we will see that as the race goes on. But really tough break for that 41 crew, who seem to have one of the stronger cars here tonight.
Wow. I'm gonna use Evans in my famous line, Petey, right here. I don't know what that was, but that just happened.
And that did just happen. Oh man. Tough break, but meanwhile, Matt Lacrosse's and Jonathan Cadell are still going to be in the lead. The top 4 are actually the same top 4 as last time. Pit strategy may work into their favor here. Thomas George has made his way up to 5th. But tough break, the 41 and 96 both receiving damage. Mitch Rollo also had a fast car. His damage isn't severe, just a little back bumper damage. But that 41 of Nathan Little, man, really tough break. I know how tough that must be for that crew that worked so hard. All they wanted was a chance to fight for that championship, and their ship has just sunk a little bit here.
It has, and I think there is some pretty decent damage potentially to the back end of the 94 of Eric Brundys as well. I'm trying to get one of my cameras on that, but I believe Brundys picked up a little bit of damage when he got smacked in the rear by the 41 of Nathan Little. We'll follow up on that here in just a few minutes, but wow, how quickly the championship picture has changed. Cadell, George in the top 5. And Grundy's in 10th right now. The only other chaser in the top 10, Scott Sinley's 12th, and boy, on back from there, CJ LeBaire is 18th, and then you've got this mess of Nathan Little, Dan Murray, and wow, 38 laps in, Petey, I didn't expect this at all.
I didn't expect this, but how they look at the 94 car, his whole rear, the end of the car got ripped off. Luckily for him, this isn't a terribly aerodynamic track, but it sort of is. He needs to get that rear end fixed, and I don't know why he didn't bring it down to pit road, but there is no rear on that car, and the left front also has some pretty substantial damage here. And the 94, I don't know if he'll still be up to speed. That's some pretty hard damage, a lot more than I thought he originally had.
I suppose we're going to find out here on the restart, aren't we?
Yes,
Lights
we will.
Are going out on, actually they've just gone out on the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, so this field's going to double up, and we're about to see exactly how this championship picture is going to shift right here. Hang on to your hats for this restart, boys and girls, because it's going to get good. Petey, I'm keeping my eyes on that number 11. Jonathan Cadell has wanted nothing more than to race his way into a championship berth, and he may have the opportunity to do that on this restart. That car has looked very good.
Did we not say before the broadcast that whoever wants it most will get it? Tonight you may not have the best car, you may not have the best team, but if you have the heart and determination to move on to Homestead, you can get there.
Who is going to be RSR's Ryan Newman tonight? We're going to find out here in about 86 laps or so, and actually the lights are still on the pace car. The angle I had, I thought they were off, and the field was doubled up as if they were off, so I guess we're going one more lap, and now the lights are off on the pace car, so I guess we'll try it this time around. Petey, the field was ready to go.
Yeah, they were, and I really like your Ryan Newman reference there, you know. Ryan Newman didn't have the best car, he didn't have the best team, and he certainly didn't have the best chance, but he gave it 100% in that last corner, and he got there by determination, and that is what I expect tonight from a guy like Grundy's, whose car may be broken, but if he can just will his way, there's a chance.
There is a chance. The problem is it's a chance that may just go through that 11, the 1, guys like that, a Cadell, a George. Those are the guys you fight with now, and we're about to see exactly what that Shell Pennzoil Ford Fusion has got left in it. As the iRacing Ford First Mustang takes the field through turns number 3 and 4, and it's going to get ready to wrap up Service Master Clean Caution number 5, I believe, so far on the night. Green flag going back in the air. Matt Lacrosse is gone. That 21 machine drops right in front of the rest of this field on the restart. Grundy's tried to get down. David Comstock, his teammate, gives him a hole, and Grundy's now to the inside lane, and we got a battle for third. I told you, Thomas J. George, he wants it, he's coming. The 1 machine to the inside of Greg Evans. That's that battle for P3. No contest. George takes it away.
Thomas George, surprising some people, wasn't the fastest in practice and wasn't the fastest in qualifying, 17th and 16th respectively, but when it comes to the race, he is on it right now, all the way up to third. Thomas J. George in that 1 car know what's on the line tonight, and he needs to get there right now as he is reeling in that 11 of Jonathan Cadell. As right now, there's really no other side-by-side battles until you get back to 9th, right in front of Grundy's. Grundy's needs them positions. He needs to get his car moving. Right now, if Grundy's in his cockpit right now is probably feeling out the car and seeing how bad the damage is, and it looks like his car is substantially tighter than it was before.
His teammate, David Comstock, is doing everything he can right now to block for him, and we got trouble. Caution flag flies at lap 43, and I guess we're slowed again. Exactly what Scott Stenzel feared and didn't want is happening, Petey. It's a wreck fest.
Yeah, and the number 9 just got loose off the corner, self-spun, hit the inside wall, very minimal damage. He'll continue on in this race, but caution was brought to you by the number 9 of Douglas Wyatt. Happened right in front of Nathan Little, who actually is probably very happy about this caution, because this will give him a chance to get some more damage fixed, but so far, we've seen some weird pitch strategies work out, and we've seen it again with Matt Lacrosse and Jonathan Cadell.
Am I the only one that really likes the paint scheme on that number 9 tonight? It reminds me of a candy scheme of some sort. It's like it's like Kyle Busch when he ran the Skittles paint scheme. Taste the rainbow. I'm seeing a rainbow on that car tonight.
Yeah, it's really cool looking, but just like everything, there's a lot of cool looking paint schemes. It is for one of our favorite paint schemes. I've got to tell you, my favorite paint scheme is the number 4 of CJ Lavere. That's a very cool looking car. The bright colors just they attract me.
Okay. You know what? Now that I get a really good look at that car off the turn 3 and 4 cam there, going into the entrance to pit road, that actually, it's a good wrench paint scheme. It's the old Peter Pan Dale Earnhardt special paint scheme. Granted, it's not got a 3 on it, but that old base scheme was a fun one. It's, as they say, it's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, and we actually saw a lot of guys coming out of pit road that time. Our second place driver, Jonathan Goodell, is in his pit stall getting 4 tires right now, and he may be the first one off pit road, and he will easily be the first one off pit road. We just need to see if anyone stayed out, and we did see a couple guys stay out. Scott Stenzel, the 51, Jimmy North, Steve Gottschalk, and there's actually a lot of guys that stayed out. The first of them will be the number 21 of Matt Lacrosse, still staying out. Interesting strategy.
I think about 10 of them, Petey, actually. All the way back to Brundy's and Comstock. I think 10 or 11 guys stayed out under this caution. Gottschalk would make 14, 16... About 16, 17 cars, I think, actually stayed out. Wow. I'm waiting to see where Cadell slots in, because you're right, there's a bunch of them, and it'll be 15 cars. Scott Stenzel was the last of them that stayed out. Cadell, the first one off pit road, he's 16th for this restart.
Yeah, we're seeing split strategy once again. One thing, I'm keeping track of this driver just because I think he has a lightning fast car. Adam Benefield's all the way back up to 5th after he was 31st. Recently, and I can't say I'm surprised, but right now, a guy to keep your eye on is that one of Thomas George, currently the highest running chaser. He wants to find a way around the 21 and lead some laps here and prove that, not everyone picked him coming in this race. Some guys kind of marked him off, but he is definitely a contender with the problems we've seen to Nathan Little and the 94 of Grundy tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Thomas did not win 2 races earlier this season just by sheer luck. I know his first win at Watkins Glen may have been marred by a little bit of controversy. He and Adam Benefield got together, but Thomas will tell you, he didn't luck into this position. He's gotten there by skill and by racing hard every single lap. And that Snap-on Chevrolet SS on this restart, I very much like his chances, and I think that's a great possibility to be one of those guys who potentially could ice his spot in the championship by winning his way in, and it's going to get good on this restart. That's all I'm going to say right there. You got Eric Brundy's back there in 8th on the high lane. He's going to need some help to get to the inside. You've got George on the outside who's going to be going for the lead. Benefield in 5th. Hang on to your hats, because I'm telling you, this race has still got a long way to go. We're only 47 laps done when we get the green flag. That's still 78 laps for all heck to break loose. Pace cars in. Matt Lacrosse on point. American Ethanol green flag going in the air. We're back underway. And Thomas J. George to the outside to the lead in turn 1.
And the 21's going to get back under. The 96 thought about making a 3 wide in the restart, but thought better, and that really checked things up in the back. The 21 is not going right now, and he's going to get split by the 85 and 15. The 85 will actually think better of that, of Adam Benefield. Right now, though, Greg Evans has a battered machine, but he is trying to get by Matt Lacrosse as they're battling hard for second, with Adam Benefield waiting in the wings right now, as the 21 of Matt Lacrosse will clear Greg Evans.
He will do so very nicely and slot back into 2nd position right now. Evans and Benefield go into the high lane to take over the 3rd position and will do so very handily. A nice run, I believe, by that 85 machine, who is just quietly sitting himself up there in the 3rd position. Actually, take that back. Challenging for 2nd, and
Caution.
We got trouble on the front straightaway. Caution flag at lap 50.
It is the number 51 machine, and I will try to see who else is involved with that wreck, but Doug Manning got some hard contact in that wreck, and it looks as though he just kind of got loose coming off the corner, and the 11 of Cadell barely missed that one. Holy smokes. Oh, a lot of guys barely missed that one. Good job by everyone missing that. That could have been a lot bigger than it was.
Caution flag out with 50 laps going in the books this time, and I do want to amend something that I said actually a few laps ago. All season long, that 85 of Adam Benefiel has been a Toyota. Actually getting a good look at the back bumper now. That machine is a Ford here at Phoenix tonight. So apologies to the guys in the manufactured chassis shop for on the Simpit Ford Fusion. Different look for that machine tonight, but Adam Benefiel in third. We are just coming up on halfway through this, and with 50 down and under caution again, we're going to slide aside, grab a break, but go side by side so you won't miss a thing. We'll be back right after this to more green flag action from Phoenix International Raceway. This is the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series on LSRTV. Gearing up for another restart here from Phoenix International Raceway. Welcome back to LSRTV. Jacob Seelman, Petey Zeller. Going to be the second in command tonight in the LSRTV broadcast booth. Evan Pasoko out on some business this evening, but we're bringing you the action of the Garry Mercer Trucking 125 from the Jewel in the Desert here in Arizona. The final race of the Eliminator round. 4 guys going to run for a championship next Monday night at Homestead. We're whittling that field down tonight. And right now, chaser Thomas J. George is in position to advance by winning this race. With 54 laps complete, he's out front alongside Adam Benefiel, Craig Evans, John Higman Jr. pulling a strategy move to 4th. Mitch Rollo in the top 5. This restart's about to get good as the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car going to head for the safety of pit road off turn number 4 and leave the field in the hands of the Snap-on Chevrolet. American Ethanol green flag waves once again, and the one is gone predictably. To the inside, coming the 15 of Greg Evans. That's going to be the battle for 3rd between he and Hickman. Give the spot to Evans off turn 2, but the Simpit Ford Fusion of Adam Benefiel now in that 2nd position, moving over to Trifecta Motorsports, and we'll get back to that. We've got caution on the speedway again, Petey. Can't even get a lap in here.
No, and this one was brought to you by the number 84 of Jimmy North. I'm going to get a replay on that one, as he got another case of getting loose in the middle of 1 and 2, tried to save it, almost saved it, and then I almost feel like he intentionally lost that one to bring the caution out. That second spin looked like he had saved it and then just turned it to make it spin.
Yikes, yikes, through the dog leg and yellow. Yeah, basically. I mean, I'm not going to say he did or he didn't, but he had it saved and then it snapped around on him. And that's something that you do struggle with here at Phoenix. I mean, let's not let's give the 84 some benefit of the doubt here, Petey, because this is a tough track. Especially, you talked about how loose these cars do get when you dive down to that apron below the dogleg off turn 2.
And I'll actually take back my opinion on that. I watched his steering wheel, and he kept that steering wheel straight throughout the whole incident. So I apologize for that, Jimmy North. It looks like your car just snapped back around on you. But meanwhile, the leader, Thomas George, well, looks like he will stay out this time. Interesting strategy. We've seen a lot of different strategies in the track, but for the most part, it looks like most of the field is staying out right now. First car we really see on pit road is Dan Murray.
The 55 machine, he is locked in and he will pit, looks like about from around the back half of the top 20. Looks like 21st and coming to pit road. So Murray back there with guys like a Nathan Little, a Corbin Himstreet, John Wilco, mired back in traffic right now, while that Snap-on Chevrolet continues to lead this race here with 57 laps in. Petey, we are here in about 5 or 6 laps, going to be at the halfway point of this race. What have you seen so far? What have we gathered here in this first half that may come back to witness here in the second half of this race, may come back to either bite us or teach us who's going to win this race?
One thing I've noticed, the dominant car, Nathan Little, is hurt. And I thought he may be able to fix that car, but after watching him on the last few runs, that car, it's really hurt, and his chances of moving on are slim to none right now. So these guys have to realize that, and a guy like Thomas George or 94 have to realize that he's out. They got to take advantage of that opportunity, because unless something unlikely happens, his car doesn't have the speed right now. They got to capitalize on that and know that if they can just keep him back there, there's only 6 other guys they're competing with for 3 spots, and it's going to be exciting to watch. But right now, Thomas J. George is surprising everyone. No one expected to see him do this tonight, and right now he's just putting a whooping on the field.
I wouldn't say nobody expected him to do this tonight. I expected him to be contending in the top 5 this evening, but as far as maybe having the dominant car, I think you're right. I didn't necessarily expect that, Petey, but right now, Eric Brundys has got to feel pretty good about what's going on here, riding up there in the 8th position right now with a wounded race car. He's doing exactly everything he can right now to maintain and hope he put that car in a position to advance here at the end of the next 66 laps or so. He has been the Jeff Gordon, or the Brad Keselowski, if you will, of the RSR series in 2014. I mean, Brundys has been so consistent, so dominant. 5 wins on the year for that 94, and he'd have a 100-plus point lead right now if we weren't using the chase. That machine, it'd be a shame to not see him in the Championship 4 at Homestead, and right now, doing what he needs to do. iRacing, Ford First pace car, hits the pit lane. Thomas George hits the accelerator. He's gone. Green flag back in the air for the Snap-on Chevrolet. He is gone. David Comstock lets the 94 in line, so move Eric Brundys to the 7th position right now, as we see Scott Simley, the 68, the Budweiser entry. He's trying to make some moves and go to 4th.
The 68 will clear the 60, leaving the door open for Mitch Rollo.
Trouble on the racetrack. Caution flag flies once again here at lap number 60. Trying to see, I believe it happened on the back straightaway, Petey, one more time.
It is the number 69 vehicle this time.
Corbin Himstreet.
Corbin Himstreet. He had trouble this time on the backstretch right off the restart. These guys have been getting frustrated. It looks as though it was another case of just coming up out of the dogleg, hit the 62, hardened the wall. Ooh, that was a hard hit for him, both on the front and back end, and his car is severely battered with heavy motor damage. It'll be tough for him to get back out on the racetrack. But if you're a Thomas George or Adam Benefiel, or especially a Mitch Rollo or Eric Brundys, you do not want to see this right now. You want to see good green racing so you can get separated and really see what you got on the long run in case this race comes down to something like that.
I hate to tell you, but if I'm Eric Brundys, I love this right now. That's exactly what I want to see, because not only did I pick up a position, but now I'm on the inside lane for the next restart. If I'm Eric Brundys, especially with the fact that I have a wounded race car, I love it. I love it because it's less time I have to run under green flag conditions, and it's less time that I have to worry about cars that are faster than me, making it up through the field and passing me to take some of those points away. It's huge for that 94 team. He needs this to go right. He needs the guys that are having bad days to have these bad days, like a Nathan Little, like a Jonathan Cadell right now. That 94 team, it's going to be close, but I think right now they're in the perfect scenario where they might advance by the skin of their teeth, but at the rate they're going, they'll slip into the championship 4 here as we're approaching halfway.
You know, I like his never give up attitude. Sure, the rear end of his car is non-existent. Sure, the left front is hurt, but he is not giving up. And his speed isn't that off. Just to give you an example here, on that last run, he was running lap times around a 26. He ran the last run that we had where we could really compare laps, he had a 26.7 for his best time. And that was the last time we really saw green conditions. Now, if you want to compare that to one of the leaders, such as Thomas J. George, that last run he was running 26.5, so he's not that far off the pace. He certainly can compete for the top 5 still. And we talked about it earlier, that never give up attitude that like Ryan Newman had. Sure, he might not have the best car on the track right now, but he seems to have the determination, and with a will there is a way.
And oh, by the way, the longer he stays out of trouble and the more cars wreck, the less he has to worry about advancing.
Yeah, and he really, like Nathan Little, we talked about him about not too long ago. Nathan Little, that benefits him. Tough break for Little, good break for Brundys. DJ LeVere not having the greatest night, found his way up to 11th, has actually worked on his car a little bit. That's good news for him. So right now he has LeVere and Cadell behind him, along with Nathan Little, which is very, very positive for him. He needs to keep them behind him. And right now, the one leading the race isn't that big of a deal for him. But he just, like I was saying, he needs to keep his car ahead of all of them. And the rest will take care of itself.
See, where this is going to be an issue, where Thomas George leading this race is going to be an issue for Eric Brundys, is if Nathan Little starts moving his way back towards the front of this field. If that 41 gets close to the top 10, it's going to pose a real issue, because Brundys can't have Thomas J. George win this race and potentially be third in championship points, or he might find himself on the outside looking in. He has got to hope that 41 machine stays back here as we get ready to go green again.
I didn't even think about that. Thank you for pointing that out, Jacob. And his biggest issue right now is Simley and George are from front of him. And you're right, if George wins this race, he's possibly on the outside looking in. And so, if I'm Eric Brundys right now, I am cheering for the 85 Benefield to find a way around George.
American Ethanol green flag just went back in the air again, and Adam Benefield's got nothing for the one of Thomas J. George right now. The Sim Pit Ford Fusion about 4 car lengths back in P2. Brundys is on the inside. He's trying to pick off a position or 2 right here. Maybe go to 6th on the inside lane. Working John Aikman Jr. slid to the inside lane.
The wall.
Oh, trouble. We're still green for the moment.
They're beating, they're banging the 96 hard in the wall. Mitch Rollo, tough break, losing positions left and right. All the way falling back. 36 is going to get by him, and he is having problems. Mitch Rollo into the wall hard. He's going to dive it in there.
3 wide?
Maybe not quite. And poor Mitch Rollo's just losing these spots. Here comes Matt Lacrosse.
That car looks wicked loose, Petey. I mean, it looks wicked loose right now. The Jag Chevrolet just not able to go anywhere. That back end about looks like it's almost dirt tracking through the corner.
Yes, but one thing happening right now. This restart, George did not get away from Benefield, and Benefield's right on his bumper. This could get sketchy here.
Ooh,
Is there racing
Rolo
the
up the racetrack again in turn 4. Barely
George!
keeps it off the safer barrier.
George got loose off the corner and give Benefield the lead. A mistake by George gives the lead to Benefield, and this is exactly what the 94 Brundys needed to see. New leader, 85, Adam Benefield.
Nice, 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 nice is what that 85 team is saying over the radio right now. Textbook pass. Benefield would like to spoil the party, and Eric Brundys right now, he is doing what he needs to do. He just got around John Hickman Jr. for 5th, and I'll tell you right now, with the 68 just a couple of positions in front of him, and now with the 85 leading that race, now it's truly, Petey, best case scenario for Brundys and that 94 team. This is what they needed to see play out, and Adam Benefield would like nothing more than to play spoiler, especially after the fact that he missed last week at Texas.
You know, Jacob, I don't know if you remember this race, but a few years back at Martinsville, Mark Martin got his rear bumper ripped off and gave him an aerodynamic advantage. Now, this is the new car with the Gen 6 and everything.
Trouble on the racetrack.
Oh.
Caution flag flies. 70 laps in, 55 to go when they get back to the line, but we're slowed yet again. Just can't string together a bunch of green flag laps.
No, and there was problems, and this is probably killing them guys right now, as cautions just keep flying. As these guys are going out, and right now the pace car finally leaves pit road. We actually had an issue there. We didn't think the pace car was going to leave pit road. It sat there for a while, but they shook Brett Bodine, and he woke up, and he is now leaving pit road.
Yeah, somebody wake up Brett Bodine. This is not good.
No, the last thing he needs is the pace car driver falling asleep. He's getting bored driving this car around the track that many times, but can't be
I don't know
sleeping
how
with
he
Brett.
can fall asleep with as many cautions as we've had so far. Goodness.
Well, the iRacing Ford first pace car actually does have a radio in it. Maybe he was listening to some nice tunes and just got caught up in them and fell asleep.
So under caution yet again, 10 cautions. Yeah, there you go, Petey. Stat of the night so far. We have run more than half of this race under the yellow flag, as seeing some guys take up pit road right here, and a lot of these leaders coming in right now. And
Brundy stayed out.
Are we surprised at that? No.
No, and like I was saying before the caution came out, do you think, like Mark Martin there, the rear bumper could be given an aerodynamic advantage at the short track?
I doubt it at Phoenix, honestly. I really doubt it.
Yes.
It's not impossible, but I doubt it. But, you know, Eric Brundys to the lead. You know, running 5th, he could easily have iced his ticket to Homestead, just staying where he was, basically. But this is Eric Brundys we're talking about. He wants to win this race. Hey, look at that. Scott Stenzel's running 3rd. Let's see if we can't, PD, in just a minute. We'll try and dial him up on the radio here. But I want to throw you the statistic that I was trying to throw you before they came down pit road and split the field again. 10 cautions, 37 caution laps. Guess how many green flag laps we've run?
How many?
38 caution laps. We've run 35 green flag laps.
Oh, I think you'll like this fact. The top 4 right now are all Chase drivers, and in 4th, Nathan Little. Look at his car. It looks pretty fixed to me.
Yeah, surprisingly, it does. They've done a lot of nice work to that 41 machine, and it looks pretty impeccable. Right? I won't say impeccable. It's wrinkled up, but I mean that car looks about as good as one can get after having been in an incident. So not too bad.
Not at all. I believe that crew has replaced both the front fenders and the right rear fender, as that car is looking a lot more straight and aerodynamic than it was before. Great job of the crew of Nathan Little. This is the never give up attitude we talked about earlier that you need in races like this. It seemed like it was all over, and instead of hanging his head down low, Nathan Little fought back.
Gonna see if we can't dial up that guy who just snuck his way up to 3rd. Scott Stenzel, this is the closest you've been to the front all night. How's the view now?
Hey, it's much better up here, Jacob.
Car looks like it's getting better. Looks like you're finding a little bit of a handle here. What's it gonna take on the restart here in just a second to maybe take it to that 94?
Track position, I just want to keep behind the 94 here and make sure the 11 doesn't snake in there. But if we get single file, that could be the best thing for us. Hopefully we don't go racing crazy here and we just pull away from that guy. What, 4 or 5 back there with fresh tires?
That's what it's looking like, getting ready to go green. Good luck, bud.
Import, thanks.
And just like that, we are getting ready to go back green flag racing, and it's going to be Brundys, Cadell, Stenzel, Little, your top 4. As the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car heads for the safety of pit road, and Eric Brundys, goodbye, green flag in the air. He'll pull up in front of Cadell, take a 2-car length advantage to turn 1, as the front 4 will stack up single file. How about Brendan Mercer in the 29, the Garry Mercer trucking entry? Where'd he come from battling for 5th? Trouble on the racetrack, caution.
And yet again, another caution is out. The 4, a chase contender, is around. CJ LeVere is around in turn number 2. Gonna try to get a replay on that one. And the rear end of that car is destroyed. It looks like he went into the corner. There was a checkup. He hit the 68, and the 36 got in the back of him, and he went around as the replay goes up, and you can see it. And very severe front end and rear damage to the number 4 of CJ LeVere, who tonight needed a great run to move on, and it's just looking more slim and slim for the LeVere crew.
He didn't just need a good run. He was so far out of it, all that it would have taken for him to advance, or all it could have taken, was a win. That was the only thing that could have saved him, and that really started... the car that he got into that checked up was actually the 68 of another chase contender, Scott Simley. So, I mean, LeVere, unfortunately, you're right, that Pennzoil Platinum number 4, that machine is all banged up on both ends. Doesn't look like the Chase championship round is going to be for that CJ LeVere crew. They won Talladega in order to advance. Doesn't look like the same miracle is going to happen here tonight in the desert at Phoenix. We're now, though, Petey, inside of 50 laps to go as well. It's getting down to crunch time.
It is. And, you know, the cream always rises at the top, and it's true tonight. 4 chase contenders, the top 4. It's right now, see, being in 4th right now, you might be thinking, oh, easy, they're going to make the chase. Being in 4th right now wouldn't necessarily make you the chase. You need to get up into them top 2 spots. As ridiculous as it sounds, 4th isn't good enough.
No, and for some of these guys, 2nd isn't even good enough. I mean, we watched Jeff Gordon finish 2nd Sunday and missed the chase. Jonathan Cadell actually may be okay if he finishes 2nd, because I think the car behind him, directly behind him in points, was Brundys. So I believe the way those two are running, that 2nd would be good enough for Cadell right now. But I mean, this is about to get good.
And one thing I'm noticing with the top 4, all of them have some sort of damage, except the 11. The 11 appears to maybe have a little bit of damage on the left front, but it's nowhere near as severe as the rest of the cars. Cadell's car seems to be relatively clean compared to Brundys, who looks like he should be running in 25th right now. Little, who got some damage but still some pretty good front damage, and the 42 of Stenzel, whose front damage is pretty severe. So these guys are fighting on hard, but in a battle of attrition, the 11 of Cadell may come out on the top.
Once again, are we surprised, Petey? I'll answer that. No, we're not. Eric Brundys has won 5 times this season. He's leading, even with a damaged car. We're just... I can't be surprised at that anymore, honestly. That 94 team has found more ways to win and more lives than a cat. And I'll tell you, that Shell Pennzoil Ford Fusion, they say a cat has 9 lives, and I think Brundys had about 15 through part of this season. So he's still there, still fighting. It's like you said, it's about passion, and that team has shown it so far tonight.
One person I do feel lucky for is whoever found that 94's rear panel in the garage area in a garbage can. That's probably going to be valued by them.
Of course, that is contingent on the fact that he advances to the championship round. That's not a guarantee just yet. So, we wait and we see. And right now, what it's going to be is charge into turn number 3, and this is how they're going to line up. Eric Brundys going to restart from the point. Jonathan Cadell 2nd, Nathan Little 3rd, Scott Stenzel 4th, Brennan Mercer 5th. And look at that, Petey. Jimmy North was involved in one of those cautions. He's up to 6th in the 84. As the pace car's gone, green flag in the air. We're back underway, and Eric Brundys is gone again.
And battle for second. The 41 was looking underneath the 11 of Cadell. Could not quite get
Cadell
there.
slammed the door.
Cadell, the 41 was knocking, and Cadell said, no, sir, Nathan Little. As the 11 is now pulling away from him, and it's going to be a battle between Nathan Little and Scott Stenzel. Like we said, you do not want to be 4th right now. But meanwhile, the 85 of Adam Benefield, fresh tires, is passing Brennan, and he is up to 5th already, and he's charging through this field, being followed closely.
Lacrosse on the front straightaway, the 21 shot towards the inside. I think he saved it, though.
Ooh, there's all types of checkups going on around this track, and oh my, the racing's intensifying as the laps wind down.
It's go time.
It's go time, and the 85 Benefield passes the 42 of Stenzel. The Stenzel gives him a shot. Will not be quite enough to get back by him. The Stenzel's going to lose it off the corner.
Scott Stenzel! Now he's going around. Caution flags out. Big damage. Big trouble for the 42.
That is not what he needed, and we could have just saw his chase hopes die there as his car got destroyed.
I thought he had it woed down to the inside where he was gonna be okay.
He has overcorrected, it looks like.
Yeah, it just a little bit too much there back to the right on the wheel, and man, he gave him a shot. It got Benefield loose, but it got Stenzel looser, and he just shot back to the outside and got blasted by Jimmy North. The 84 just pounded the rear end of the 42 right there. Tough break. Like you said, Petey, Scott Stenzel's chase hopes may have just gone up in smoke right there.
And also, what this caution does is creates an unwanted situation for Brundys, Cadell, and Little. 4th is now Adam Benefield on fresher tires, and his car has just been one of the best in this race so far. And in 5th on fresh tires and one of the better cars this race, Thomas J. George, and the 94 crew thinking about it will not come down pit road. And the 41 almost came down pit road, but thought better of it at the last moment
fake
there.
Out.
And that was a good fake out there. But right now, if I am the 3 leaders, I am worried about Benefield and George. They're on fresher tires, they have cleaner cars, and they have been very fast this whole race. And Brundys has done an incredible job this whole race because he's going to have to do his best driving these final 40 laps.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And just, oh man. I'm running out of words because of how intense this is right now, Petey, and I'm gonna take a look here, see if we can't dial up Scott Stenzel real quick, just get a little bit of word on what happened. Scott, you had a run on it there, my friend. What happened there?
That was just Benefield trying to throw it down there, and I wasn't too happy about that, so I wanted to show my displeasure and end up getting myself in a little bit of trouble myself.
How damaged is the car? You think you're going to be able to get it back out and be any sort of competitive here towards the end?
I don't know. What does it look like to you guys back there?
It looked decent from our vantage point.
Drive's all right. Toe's still not knocked out of it. Feels okay. Just don't know if it's going to have the speed, but who knows? We should be all right, though.
Hey, Scott, I'll tell you right now, if they keep wrecking like they've been wrecking, you're not out of it by any means. If you're on the lead lap, you've still got a shot at this.
That's probably the truth here. Man, that was kind of crazy. There's no need to go dive bombing people that early here. And I don't know what Benefield's trying to be a hero or anything here. I don't know.
It's getting down to crunch time. 40 to go. We'll let you get back to it. Good luck.
10-4, thank you.
Well, Petey, Scott Stenzel not exactly happy right now with that 85. I mean, do you blame him, though? His championship hopes are on the line right here.
And like we said, frustration will happen. Tempers will flare, and I'm surprised this is the first time we have seen it tonight. Tough break for Stenzel, and he has a long way to go in a short time to get there, but hey, we also said that about Eric Brundys, and he got there, and who knows, Stenzel could do it too.
Waiting on it here, and it looks like the lights have just gone out, so one more mile before we go back to green with fresh tires towards the front of the field now, and Eric Brundys leading the way. He doesn't need to win. He doesn't absolutely have to win, PD, to transfer, but obviously a win would cure all ails.
Yeah.
Can the 94 hang on here? I mean, do we have any reason to believe that they can somehow hang on long enough to get fresh tires again and be on the same playing field?
I denied him once, he proved me wrong. I denied him twice, he proved me wrong. I denied him 3 times, he proved me wrong. I'm not going to deny him again.
I'll give you that one, PD. 3 strikes and Eric Grundy said you were out of here. So the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, it's headed for the pit lane, and Eric Grundy's is headed for the fences. Green flag in the air, and he said, "Bye-bye, boys. I'm leaving," and the battle's for second. Nathan Little, Jonathan Cadell, and how about the battle with fresh tires behind them? Benefield and George going at it. George to the inside, 3 wide.
Oh my, George to the bottom. He's going to make the apron move. Will it stick? Yes, it will. He comes up and he's cleared the 41. Will he get clear of the 85 of Benefield? He will. Benefield with another bump and run. The 41 is tight, but Little giving him the bump will not quite work out. And just like that, Thomas George is back up to 3rd.
And yet again, I say, we're not surprised. That one car's been good. It's just a matter of if Grundy's can hang on long enough for the edge of those fresh tires to wear off right here. He is driving the wheels off this thing right now, and we've still got 37 laps to go. It's not over.
It's never over, and here we are. The 4 leaders are within a second of each other, battling hard. Here they go. The 85 gives the 1 a push. The 1 gets an 11. Cut. Oh my, these guys are battling harder than we've seen them battle all night, and that's a statement seeing how hard they've battled tonight. And this has just been spectacular.
Benefield to the inside. 85's making the move right there. He'll take 3rd back away. Does George have any counter for it? He's not close enough. Take that back. Yes, he is. He's trying to take the look to the inside, and you know what? Eric Grundy's is loving this right now. Ooh. These 2 with fresh tires. Oh! How about that? Cadell up the racetrack trying to hold these cats back. He knows his chase hopes need to be in that top 2 right now. He's backing up the corner, trying to make sure these guys can't get the run on him. We saw Tyler Hudson do this in the pro race on Tuesday night at Texas. You back up the corner, you keep these guys from getting that huge run, and it works. And right now, Cadell is playing it to perfection. And those guys with fresh tires, they're battling it out. And Eric Grundy's is saying, "Sayonara, boys."
Oh my, you think this is hard to watch here, and it's exciting. Imagine being a driver. This is absolutely amazing. As Benefield's trying to find a way around Cadell, he wants to get to Brundy's, and Brundy's is driving that mangled machine away from the field. What some great driving we've seen by him. If you're George right now, you know 4th probably isn't
trouble
good
on the
right
racetrack.
now.
Caution flag flying one more time here with working lap number 92, trying to follow up on the problem.
48.
48 is going to go around. That's Kevin Linden, the Lowe's machine, going to bring out the caution with 33 laps to go. And Petey, this is exactly what Eric Grundy's wanted to see. They ran a few green flag laps now to take the edge off those 4 fresh tires, and he's still the leader. So we'll see how it plays out. I guarantee you we'll see pit stops, and you won't miss a thing, because we're going to go side by side. Back for the exciting conclusion. 4 move on, 4 go home. From Phoenix, it's LSRTV and the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. Welcome back to the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series presented by Garry Mercer Trucking from Phoenix International Raceway. It's the Garry Mercer Trucking 125 from Phoenix, and lights have just gone out. We are gearing up for what I guarantee is going to be one of the most exciting American ethanol restarts of the entire season. Eric Brundys on old tires leads this race. Jonathan Cadell in second, also on old tires. Adam Benefiel in third. He's got 4 fresher tires than those 2 leaders. Thomas J. George in fourth. He's got fresher tires. Nathan Little in fifth. He's got damage. Brundys, the leader, has got the whole back end ripped off. Scott Simley in sixth, probably the least damaged of all the front runners. And oh, by the way, 4 of the top 5 and 5 of the top 6 are fighting for only 3 available spots in the championship round. You don't think it's about to get exciting? Think again. Pace car pulls to pit road. Green flag in the air. Brundys is gone. Benefiel's trying to go to second. Cadell is going to try to chop him off. Benefiel with the run to the inside to turn 1.
Oh my, here comes Benefiel underneath Cadell. He needs to clear him. He needs to get by him fast because Brundys will leave him if they battle hard, and he is doing all he can. Thomas George knows this is crucial, and Benefiel clears him, and the one's going to try to follow suit. Can he get clear off the exit? No, maybe?
Yep, he got him. Oh, contact between the 41 and the 15 back in the pack. Nathan Little, Greg Evans getting real physical.
This is for the championship. He cannot let up. Nathan Little needs to drive more aggressive than he has all night. This is it. He can't lose any more positions. He's on the edge right now as it is.
Yeah, Nathan Little is absolutely on the edge. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he cannot afford to drop back too many positions, especially with Eric Brundys leading this race, trying to do everything he can. The only way Brundys can afford to give up the top spot is if Adam Benefiel wins this race, and right now Brundys is doing everything he can to keep that from happening, but now the battle for the lead and the change for the lead. Benefiel to the lead. Brundys slots in, chops Thomas J. George. He slides in second. George to third. That could have been disastrous. Thomas J. George is so close in this battle for the championship. Brundys versus George has been the battle for much of the season. Well, now it's the battle to see who moves on to Homestead, Miami. Brundys is holding the one at bay for the moment, but we've just got 25 laps to go. Oh, Petey, Brundys got loose there a minute ago, and I think that's going to be exactly what Thomas J. George needed. Oh boy, hang on tight. Gonna try to get Petey back in a minute. Think a mic issue there, but now Brundys to the outside, George to the inside. This is the battle for the chase going to Homestead. And right now, Brundys is on the losing edge. He's contact and saves it. Oh boy, Cadell slots in. Brundys on the losing end. The 3 chasers now have just gotten by the 94 of Eric Brundys. Don't know exactly how much damage that 94 got from that shot that Thomas J. George just gave him, but it is extremely dicey right now, and that 94, this could be disastrous.
This could be disastrous. He needs these positions back. He needs to fight for them as he is falling back drastically. He's back to 5th. I do not know the exact points, but it's close. He can't lose anymore, and he definitely wants to get a few more back with George in 2nd. It's close.
22 laps to go. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Brundys, Simley, Cadell, George, 4 chasers right now fighting for 3 spots. And this is it right here. This is your season on the line. If you don't advance tonight, you don't fight for the championship in Homestead, Miami next Monday. Brundys in 5th, Simley 4th. That could be the difference. It's all about one position. 1 point right now could mean a championship run. Brundys, who's led the points so much of this season, now just has 20 laps remaining to try to get a couple of those spots back. He's on older tires. It's going to be tough to do. We're down to 20 laps to go, and Adam Benefield's got a 1-second lead.
And Greg Evans is going to go underneath Brundys. Brundys is going to lose another spot. He can't lose these spots. This is detrimental. He needs to fight that 15. 15 is just going to clear him. Brundys' tires are starting to show here. The wear as the run goes on is getting rougher, and Brundys is falling back. And oh, the heartbreak must be hard for Brundys right now, and he's going to need a caution if he has any shot of getting most of these positions back.
It's not heartbreak yet because we don't know the numbers. Brundys in 6th, George in 2nd. I don't know exactly what the points were coming in. I'm going to try and pull up the stat books here in just a moment and see if we can't do the math on who would advance if they finished this way right now. All Brundys can hope for is that Benefield wins this race. He's got to hope that 85 car goes to victory lane, Petey. Otherwise, then it really is all over.
And you're exactly right there. And right now, Benefield's still pulling away, so that does help Brundys. But he doesn't. I'm not sure if he wants to see a caution because that gives George a whole nother opportunity. And George on these fast restarts has been a little bit better than Benefield, so it could all come down to this. When we came into this race, we told you guys it was going to come down to the final lap, and right now it looks like it is going to come down to the final lap. Is we have Benefield leading, not a chase driver, but there's a chase driver in 2nd, 3rd, and in 6th. This is it, folks. The thing you've tuned in for all season long, waiting for this race. It's all come down to this.
It has absolutely all come down to this right now, and it is going to get so dicey here in these closing laps as we are down now to 15 laps to go. Eric Brundys in 6th. We're trying to run the numbers as we speak to find out if he would advance in the position that he's in right now.
Yes, and as these guys battle up here, I mean, George is catching Benefield. Does he have enough laps? That's the real question. But that lap Benefield pulled away a little bit, but previously George has been closing. Right now, Cadell doesn't appear to be a threat to him, but this is what we expected. And right now, Brundys has kind of stabilized himself in 6th right now. I do not believe that Comstock will get to him if this race stays green. So we have to assume that if this thing goes green, Brundys is probably going to finish 6th unless something happens in front of him. And the real only deciding battle right now is going to be between Benefield and George, because Cadell is a little bit too far back. I mean, Simley could maybe catch Cadell, but for the most part, things look like they're pretty stabilized.
For the moment, and that it's going to be so close. And pulling up the points right now to see exactly where it is. Brundys had a 3-point buffer coming into this over Thomas J. George. As they run right now, George, I believe, would be ahead of Brundys by 1 point, unless Brundys gets the bonus point for most laps led, in which case they would be tied, and it would go to the tiebreaker. Oh, you could not ask for any tighter championship battle than this. The only good thing for Brundys right now is that Nathan Little is in 9th position as they run. That's 3 points. Little actually, I take that back. Little did lead the opening lap. Brundys may have led the most laps, though. It's going to be so close. The possibility, Petey, exists. We could have a 3-way tie for the final transfer.
And this reminds me of Sunday, but I believe Brundys did lead the most laps thinking about the race. He led this thing for a long period of time for 2 separate stints. Right now, this is not official or anything, but I do believe that point would go to Brundys. We will find out momentarily when this race is over, but this is so tight, Jacob, and oh my, this is going to be amazing as we close in on just 10 laps to go. This decides who fights for the championship. Seasons will end. 4 nations will die. Who will move on?
I think right now you're seeing Eric Brundys in the exact same position that you saw Ryan Newman in. He needs that last point. He's got to have it to ensure himself a spot in the finale. That's the
Hey.
only way he knows for guaranteed fact that he is safe.
And why can't Greg Evans be Kyle Larson? I mean, Greg Evans is well out of the chase, and, you know, he's not going to... If I was Brundys, I wouldn't feel too bad about moving Evans out of the way, a guy who's really not relevant to anything right now. But we will see it come down to that. Right now, Brundys is not seeing a lot of pressure from behind from Comstock. So this is it, folks. This is... Brundys has to find a way around that number 15 car of Greg Evans, and he probably wants to do it sooner than later.
If Brundys, and again, this is all unofficial, but if we're correct in the numbers that Brundys has led the most laps, he, Thomas J. George, and Nathan Little, and actually...
Oh my, the 15, the 62, and the 60 are having a hectic moment. 3 wide. This is what Brundy needs. The lap car held him up a little bit, and Brundys is now right back into the battle.
And Brundy's also got a little help in the fact that Matt Lacrosse just got around Nathan Little. That's 1 extra point for Brundys, and right now it would put him ahead of Nathan Little in the championship battle. That would be enough.
Oh my, what just happened there? Brundy's a miracle, but he needs to maintain
It's not
that position.
again. It's not over yet, though. That's the problem. Nathan Little's dropped the spot for now, but we saw it with Newman on Sunday. It's not over till they come off turn 4 for the last time, and even then, it still may not be over.
There are still 6 laps to go.
Oh, and we got trouble. Caution flag is out. Are you kidding me?
Oh my! I believe this is going to be a 1-lap shootout.
Are you kidding me right now?
The season, guys have fought all year. The 62 has wrecked, but more importantly, a whole season is on the line, and it will come down to 1 lap, I believe. And this, oh, I don't have words.
What just happened? What just happened? Are you kidding me right now?
Brundys, I don't even know. Brundys can't lose this position, but more importantly, Little's going to be right there on the restart, and all he has to do is get 1.
The only benefit that Eric Brundys has right here is David Comstock, his teammate, is going to line up directly to his inside. If Comstock gives Brundys the lane in order to get down, that could be the difference.
But Comstock, oh, he's just faking it. Of course he's faking it. Who would pit out for a 1-lap shootout here? But, oh, this is it, folks. This is... I'm still lost for words.
As they run right now, unofficially, by my math, Eric Brundys would advance by 1 point.
You know, whatever happens...
1 point.
Whatever happens in this 1-lap shootout that we believe we'll have, nothing confirmed yet, I'm going to give a shout out to Eric Brundys. He is my performer of the race. He has driven a scarred machine right around the top 5 the whole race, and whether he moves on or doesn't, he has done a great job this whole race fighting for his spot.
Yeah, and you know what? Normally we don't do this till after the race, but I'll go ahead and say it. Tonight's Goodyear Superior performer, Eric Brundys, by far and away, back end ripped off that machine, and still he has manhandled that car into position to qualify for the championship round. And for a guy like Thomas J. George or Jonathan Cadell, this is it.
And meanwhile, on this restart, we're going to go side by side with the 94 and the 41 here on the restart, as we are in for an epic battle.
It's all about these two right now, and honestly, there's one other scenario that could play out right here, Petey, and it's one that I don't think we've think about just watching these two, Brundys versus Little. And, I mean, they're teammates. That's another thing that we've not thought about. These two are teammates battling for this final transfer spot. And what neither one of them wants to see is if a Thomas J. George or a Jonathan Cadell wins this race. That's the last thing that they can afford to have happen, because then it throws a whole nother wrench into the works, and that could make all the difference. There are so many scenarios right now that literally, until the checkered flag falls, we're not going to know. And I'll be honest, even after the checkered flag, we may not know.
Yes, and, well, here's the deciding moment. Will the lights go off on the pace car as it crosses the start-finish line? And one lap shootout, folks. This is it.
Oh, I don't know if my heart's gonna be able to hold up for a whole lap here, Petey. Oh boy. I mean, this is what it comes down to. Right now, it's 1 point. Nathan Little needs 1 point. Eric Brundys needs to hold exactly where he is. He cannot afford to lose anything else right here.
These are the type of races that someday you'll be telling your grandchildren about. Amazing. Just, this is it, folks. Season's on the line here.
I've been with RSR all season long. I feel like it's only fitting that I get to be the one to sit here to watch what's going to be the defining lap in 4 guys' championship season right here. For one of them, a season is over. For the other 3, they will advance to Homestead. American Ethanol, green flag flies, big stack up, CJ LeVere in the wall. Eric Brundys makes it to the inside to turn 1. For the final time, Adam Benefiel is gone. He looks like he is going to drive away with this victory. Nathan Little needs a point. Eric Brundys needs a point to turn 3 for the last time. It's Benefiel's race to lose, and he is going to spoil the party as Eric Brundys is looking to advance off turn 4 for the final time. They're all stacked up. Everybody's crashing. Checkered flag. And they're still crashing. Benefiel wins the race and half the field. Rex coming to the finish.
And I have to believe that Brundys moved on the 41 wrecked and finished in 13th of the last corner in just that, I don't know.
Oh my. There are no words for that. Adam Benefiel won this race, and 3/4 of the field, Petey, wrecked behind him.
Yeah, but Eric Brundys didn't wreck, and that's all he needed.
Eric survived. Wow.
Oh my, I just got a report from the 94 crew that he had 1.4 gallons of fuel left at the end of that race. Wow.
I'm going back to the replay cam, and actually, the first car sideways was Scott Stenzel. John Higman bounced off the wall. That's what got Nathan Little checked up. Dan Murray was in it. Rich Jett was in it. Brennan Mercer somehow made it through. And you're absolutely right, Petey. Eric Brundys making it through that crash means he will advance to the championship round at Homestead, and now we wait to see the fates of the other drivers. I mean, this is where the crack statisticians are busy crunching the numbers, steam pouring out of their calculators as we wait to see which of the other 2 drivers will advance. As Adam Benefiel, he's the one that gets to celebrate. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the crack team do their math, take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the Garry Mercer post-race show. We'll hear from Adam Benefiel, Jonathan Cadell, Thomas George, Eric Brundys. It's going to be a wild wrap-up. We'll be back after this.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Welcome back to LSRTV. It's time for the Garry Mercer Trucking post-race show, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Petey Zeller first. The crack team has done their work. We have the math, and look at this. Dan Murray, we knew he was in based on the win at Martinsville. After the final lap crash, Jonathan Cadell assumes the points lead. Eric Brundys to second, and Thomas J. George overhauls Nathan Little for the final transfer spot on points. The 94, the 1, the 11, and the 55 are going to be the four drivers unofficially battling it out at Homestead for the Full Throttle Cup. Nathan Little misses it by 3 points. He lost 4 spots on that last lap dash, Petey. That was the difference.
Oh, man. Just to think, if he could have just found another way around the 60, I think he could have possibly won. I mean, not won the race, I mean, moved on, but it's racing. He tried to do what Ryan Newman did. He tried to dive it in there and move the 60 up the track and hope to gain by him. It just didn't pan out, and that move, even though Ryan Newman was successful with it, not everyone's going to be. It was just some great racing, but now that the race is over, we are going to send it down to pit road, where Jacob Seelman has caught up with the number 1 third place finisher, Thomas J. George, who will move on in the chase.
Yeah, down here with Thomas J. George. The Snap-on Chevrolet is cleaner than most. Thomas, you survived most of the theatrics tonight, and you are the final driver to transfer on points. You did exactly what you needed to do, and you got just enough help on that final restart. You move on to Homestead by 3 points. How about that?
Is this real right now?
I mean, heck,
I mean,
you won 2 races this season, and it seems like you were involved in everything that you could have been involved in that last round, advanced by the skin of your teeth, and now here you are.
I mean, I'm a Gordon fan, and I was disappointed he didn't make the transfer spot, but I can only imagine what he was going through. I think it's similar to here, where I'm just thinking, did I make it? Did I make it? Did I make it? And when on that last restart, I knew I was in trouble if I didn't get a good one. I got the best one I could, and I don't know what would have happened. I know I passed the 15 back at the end, but I don't think I would have had enough to get by Goodell for the final spot. But I didn't realize Nathan had gotten caught up in a slower restart. So, yeah, I mean, coming into this race, I thought I had a good chance. I've always been good at Phoenix, and the last 2 races where Martinsville, I just didn't have the car, and Texas, I've just never been good at. But last week I had to make the move there, and I'm gonna say something. Have you noticed how many times me and Goodell have come together, basically just aggressive driving, yet we come out of it clean, and we're just
and
going
everybody's
crazy.
Smiling somehow?
I wasn't smiling early on. I was thinking,
No, I'll give you that.
And the thing that kind of concerned me though going into this one, as I saw the times, was I couldn't set a fast qualifying lap no matter how hard I tried. But when the race got started, I found myself flying through. So again, I'm not a good qualifier, but when it comes to the race, it seems I can find ways to get to the front. But that was crazy at the end. It would have been nicer not to have seen that many cautions, because it was basically a game of musical chairs, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we finally got that green run, and if that caution had come out, would have finished ahead of Goodell, but I don't know if that would have got me in the final spot either. But it's a moot point now. Moving on to Homestead, and going to go out for this championship.
Yeah, you punch your ticket, Thomas. Next week, it all comes down to one race, one track. Do you like your chances, or do you feel like you guys go in as a bit of an underdog here?
Well, it's a 1.5-mile track, and even at Texas, which was the worst showing in my book because we didn't have the best car there, but I still managed to get a fifth out of there. It's a 1.5-mile track, but it's not a traditional 1.5-mile track. It's one last year I struggled with practicing, but I figured out something towards the end. Obviously, on the tires and different packages now, but you look at Chicagoland, you look at Kansas, you look at Charlotte, we were in the win for each one of those, so I like my chances. But Dan Murray, he's good, Eric is good, Jonathan is good, and I don't want to say anything, but I think the final four drivers are the ones that should have been in the field. And Adam, he just got unlucky breaks. I thought he would have been in there too, and that's just what this system is. It's so nerve-wracking that you really just gotta give it all. It's not like it used to be.
It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, I think I enjoyed this race more than just about any other. But before we let you go, Thomas, you're in the championship round. That's not possible by yourself. Shout out supporters. Who makes it happen for you and the one team?
Just thank all my teammates back at the shop. Thank you guys for putting this on air. Thank Brennan and all the RSR guys for allowing me to be here and putting this on. And I knew once we got in, back in the start of the season, we were running good for a little bit. Then we just had those bad breaks through the summer months, and then got hot at the end there. And I knew once we were in the chase, we just had to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'll be damned if it wasn't. We fought again and just got the lucky break we needed tonight down to the final lap. And I don't know. I don't know what Homestead's going to bring, but it's going to be crazy at the end, no matter what.
Third, but more importantly, to Homestead you go, Thomas. Congratulations. We'll see you in a week. Get ready for this one. I think it's going to be good.
Thanks, Jacob. No matter what happens, at least I can only finish no worse than fourth.
Thomas J. George, he comes home tonight third and moves on to the championship round. And Petey Zeller, I'm going to send it your way down on pit road, because our second place finisher, he's a guy that's advancing too. That is Jonathan Cadell, driver of the number 11. He's moving on to Homestead.
I have caught down on pit road with Jonathan Cadell and the 11 crew. It's all smiles as they have learned that they are going to move on in the chase. And Jonathan Cadell, how exactly did you manage to move on in a race of attrition?
I have no idea. It seemed like I was back and forth all day. I mean, I'm a Denny Hamlin fan, and I felt like I had the same kind of day he had yesterday. Just luck of the draw there at the end.
Well, Jonathan, you drove the wheels off that car, made a bunch of strategy calls. Halfway through that race, when about your strategy call was starting to play out, did you think that you were going to be one of the final four?
I honestly had no idea. I knew I had a couple point cushion in fourth, and I knew I had to get every spot that I could to guarantee myself, to move on. So I just tried to hold off as many people as I could, and I was really mad about that last caution, but it ended up giving me one more spot, so I guess it can't be too mad.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long road to get here, and can you just take us through some highlights of your season, how you've made it to be one of the final four drivers who are going to compete for the RSR Cup?
Well, I mean, last season I had a hiccup, and I got suspended there for a while for bad judgment, and came back at the end of the year, had some top fives, and didn't think I'd be able to run full season, but Worked it out with my job and everything, and managed to be home every Monday night. Got my first win at Dover through tire strategy, and my second win at Pocono the next week. Just with an intense battle with Eric, those are definitely the highlights of my season. And after that, it was just trying to finish consistently, and then all survival throughout the chase. I think I barely squeaked in every freaking cutoff, but we get the tie of the points next week and move on.
All right, well, Jonathan, next week, Homestead. This is it. You fought the whole season for this moment. Who do you think will leave on top, and will the 11 crew prevail and win the cup?
Well, of course, I think I'll win, but I mean, whether or not that happens is a different story. Homestead's definitely not one of my best tracks, but I'm gonna give it all I got. I mean, obviously, Brundy's and George they have been the class of the field all year, and I got to get around them if I'm going to do it. And definitely my teammate Dan, he's been on a hot streak lately. So if you had to choose 4 drivers, I think this is 4 of the best that we have. I mean, I don't mean to brag on myself. I'm definitely not one of the best, but I'm lucky.
All right, well, that was your second place finisher, Jonathan Cadell. He is moving on, and he is going to have a chance to battle for this championship. Meanwhile, the champagne bottles are flying. Adam Benefiel is caught up on victory lane with Jacob Seelman.
Well, a week ago, I was talking to this cat up here in the LSR broadcast booth, and tonight I'm talking to him in victory lane. Adam Benefiel, what a difference a week makes, my friend. You may not have been the chaser, but you crashed the party here in Phoenix. What a drive by you and this newly rebranded SimPit Ford Fusion. New team, and yet here you are, same old result. Talk about that run late in the race.
Yeah, it was intense. I know I had to help out my buddy Jonathan and take at least win, so a chaser couldn't win and still give him a shot. But it was quite an adventure just to get that done. Getting turned by my buddy Greg and having to go to the back and then pit and weave my way back up through there. But it was fun. We got it done. Move on to Miami.
Got it done. You got one more shot at a win next week, and help Jonathan advance to the championship round now. Are there any friends next week at Homestead, even with teammates? Is it a case where anybody can play the card of let somebody in for space and try to help them win a championship, or is it every man for themselves at this point?
No, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have their back. They've had my back, and I'm gonna be there for them. And any way I can help them out, I will.
I know you can't do it by yourself, Adam. A win, even though as a non-chaser now, not possible without the supporters. Who makes it happen for you in the 85?
Roll Speed Dynamics, as always. They're not on the car yet, but they'll be there soon. Sim Pit, awesome. Go check them out. They got some great reviews. SDC Motorsports and Trifecta. Those guys are tremendous. They push me to get better every day. And, my buddies here that had my back all year, Jonathan and Dan and Cody, So just appreciate all those guys.
You got 2 teammates in this championship fight, Adam, and I know you'll be pulling for them next week at Homestead and even trying to get a win yourself. But go celebrate this one. You're a winner in the desert. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's Adam Benefiel, and actually going to take a minute to jaunt right down back pit road and catch up with the last 2 here in the points battle. First, going to walk over and talk to Nathan Little. Nathan, you had it. You were in on that last restart, and a mile, and not even a mile, about 500 yards made all the difference for you. What happened there coming off turn 4 on that last lap?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I tried to pull a Newman a little bit, and I guess I screwed myself, so I didn't successfully pull it off. But we were going for it there at the end. I had trouble there earlier and just driving way over my head all race. I had to, honestly, but sorry for everyone. I think I cut off Stencil a few times. I cut off lacrosse, and all kinds of those guys. And I don't race like that. And it's been a great year. So I'm happy. I'm happy with where I finished and things. So.
Nathan, I know it's not the result you wanted, but we've seen you grow so much in this RSR group this season. Can you take away that momentum and look forward to next season with your head held high, knowing that you guys are contenders now?
Oh yeah, I'll tell those guys they better watch out for me next year. 'Cause I come on during the chase and I've got my issues, my connection issues figured out, and I finally figured out how to get these things around the track pretty quick. So I'm coming for them. So we'll see what happens.
Got a shot at it, Nathan. No, you can't do it by yourself. Who makes it happen for you in the 41 team?
I got amazing teammates. David Comstock, John Abbott, Eric Brundies. He's going to win the thing next week, hopefully. And Brendan Mercer. Those guys are awesome. They've made me grow so much in this series. Got to thank my cousin for being on the hood. Live Heat Performance. It's aftermarket part company online, and everybody should check it out. And I got buddies watching like crazy. I got Benji Profit, Jonathan Mullins, Derek Hyatt. I think Savannah Hampton's watching. I think got a lot of people watching me tonight. I'm sorry I let them down, but we'll get them next year.
And you got one more shot to get a win next week at Homestead, Nathan. Congrats on a great season. We'll see you in Miami.
Thank you, guys.
That's Nathan Little, and going to walk one more stall down pit road and catch up real quickly with the guy who dominated the season and actually is the guy who was fighting for that last transfer spot with his teammate for a lot of this race, Eric Brundies. You had the dominant car in the regular season, really have had the dominant car in this chase. Tonight, it was a struggle. Got involved in an accident early, but you dug deep, and somehow a sixth-place finish is enough. You're in the Final Four at Homestead. How does that feel after the way this race went for you guys?
Oh, it feels good. This is the second race in this eliminator round. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. That we've had to race with a wrecked race car. There was a slower car, that stayed out on tires, and he was slow halfway on the apron, and we got into him, and then Nathan got into us, and I think his damage hurt him a little more, and ours hurt ours. Or ours hurt us. It didn't really change the handling too much. It made it a little more loose, but we just stayed out. There wasn't really any long runs, and I only had less than a gallon and a half of gas left, so it was a little close there. But it was a good race for us.
You make it onto Miami. We've seen you so good on every track type this season. What's it going to take for you to bring this championship home? I mean, you're the dominant driver, and now you're sitting here with a shot to take it home next week at Miami. What's it going to take?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. What we've done the first 31 races, doesn't matter next week. It's a new slate, and it's a brand new week, and we're going to have to test for. I've been sick all week. I didn't even turn a lap here till Saturday, so we'll get a little bit of an earlier start this week. But we're looking forward to it.
I know you're looking forward to it, but no, you can't do it alone. Who makes it happen for you and the Shell Pennzoil team?
Oh, I just want to thank my teammates. I want to, give a kudos to Nathan. He's been awesome this last month or two. He's just been really good, and he didn't move on with us, but just I hope he keeps his head up because he was awesome this year. So, and then you guys for a great broadcast. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your nights to do this. So thanks.
We appreciate it. That's Eric Brundies. He punches his ticket to Homestead, Miami. And want to thank Petey Zeller first for filling in up here in the broadcast booth. I know it's been kind of a long night with Evan not being here, but Petey has stepped up, and I'll hear from you in just a minute, Petey. But first, final thoughts from one of the guys who helps make this whole gig happen every single week. Brendan Mercer, you and the crack team of statisticians finally got the points figured out. And what a finish to Phoenix, and the Final Four going to Homestead. I couldn't have pictured it any better than this.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I just did the classic points too, and the top three guys in the classic points are actually making their way to the championship race, which is something you don't see in our the regular NASCAR chase, which is going on. So that's a good, interesting point to make too, as well. But I'm excited for next week. If it was anything like this week, next week's gonna be even more fun.
Yeah, it looked fun just from our seat. Petey, wow, on to Homestead. Final thoughts from you?
Man, it was fun up here tonight. I didn't really think I was going to be up here tonight. I kind of came here expecting to be on pit road, and when I heard Evan was stuck in traffic, I jumped on the opportunity, and I can't wait to watch next week's broadcast and you and Evan just commentate what should be an amazing race.
And I got to give you props, Brennan, too. I was just looking down the final results here. You finished 10th, so not all bad.
Yeah, that was just me taking tires and lucky enough to get the outside lane and rolling the top and missing a couple wrecks. So I think I restarted 19th and came up to 10th. So all in all, it was just trying to keep the nose clean and just hoping to have a good night.
And real quickly, Benefiel, Cadell, Thomas J. George, they're your top three, as we mentioned. Scott Simley in fourth. He has a good night but doesn't advance. Greg Evans, fifth. Brundy, sixth, advances. David Comstock, Matt Lacrosse, Doug Roth, and, of course, Brennan Mercer, 10th. Steve Gottschalk, 11th. Dakota Bowman, 12th. 13th, Nathan Little, who misses the cut. John Higman, 14th. Doug Wyatt, 15th. Kevin Linden, Rich Jett, C.J. LeVere. Scott Stenzel goes home in 19th. Dan Murray, 20th, with the win at Martinsville. He was in already. Rest of these cars, 2 or more laps down. Jason Lester, 21st. John Wilco, Jimmy North, Keith Brooks, Mitch Rollo, 25th. Corbin Hemstreet, Brian Harvey, Doug Manning, Cody Gibson. Rhett McBride crashed out early, 30th. Eric Arnold, the Navy Nuke, and Mark Bratcher, the rest of the 32 cars starting field that took the green flag. And with that, it's a wrap from Phoenix, and we go on 1 week's time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here from Homestead, Miami Speedway, where we count down the finale to the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series season. 1 race, 4 drivers, 1 champion. It all comes down to Homestead. We'll see you there. For our executive producer, Laura Lawson, Brennan Mercer, and the staff at RSR, and Petey Zeller up here in the broadcast booth tonight, I'm Jacob Seelman. Race fans, keep it off the wall until we meet again. We'll see you from Miami in a week. Until then, we'll see you out. Good night.